Coach on the mic. WTF Nation. We say all. Stand up. Veterans in the building. Let's go. We breaking down the scores. NCAA to the pros. If the Jets or the Giants play, you already know we roasting them, cooking them, put them on the grill. Sports talk artillery, yeah, we too real. King with the stats, coach with the smoke. WTF Nation, laugh till you choke. Wednesday, heat, 8 p.m., no debate. Sports Bar Nation, we never show up late. Oh, this is the Sports Bar. Wednesday nights we go hard. Veterans strong and we stand tall. WTF Nation, we run the ball. Hey, hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. Hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. WTF Nation, Wednesday domination. King and coach in rotation. The Sports Bar's sensation. From kickoff to buzzer beaters, we break it all down. Wednesday 8 p.m. the live show in town. It's the Sports Bar where legends hang out. WTF Nation Radio. We
Hey, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome, sports fans, veterans, people alike here at WTF Nation Radio. This is the Sports Bar. I am the actual King Smith, affectionately known as your boy King, and I am in the building live tonight here in this Wednesday, January 28, 2026. Got my, guess you would call this spiked hot chocolate. Let me know if y'all heard that buzzing sound. Trying to see what's up with my sound effects and see if I got my sound effects fixed. But we are here, we are live, and we're going back to the vertical format for one more week. I still have to fix some technical things on my side so that we could spice the show up a bit and offer a little bit more flavor going into 2026. And I tried to wait and do something last minute, and it did not work out for you, boy. But we're here, and tonight I am not doing a solo show. We got the man, the myth, the man behind the board, affectionately known as Coach. Coach, let people know something.
Yo, what do you hear? What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Dear God Almighty, we are a week, less than a week away from the Super Bowl. Man, actually, no, I take that back. 10 days away from the Super Bowl.
10
Less than 10 days.
days
Yeah.
away from the Super Bowl in what
Yes.
some might
Double
call
freaking time.
a very interesting one, right? Especially kind of harking back to what happened a decade ago.
Eh.
These
I
two
mean,
last couple of
look, let them go ahead and pull that in. If anybody says, "Oh, well, the only people that have been in the Super Bowl for the past, 20 some odd years were the Patriots, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs," no, you're freaking stupid. So, do yourself a favor. The Seahawks got there 3 times in 20 years. At least they got there. It's more than what the Giants used to do. And it's definitely more than what the Steelers have done. And it's definitely more than what the Cowboys have done. So Seattle being there is all right. The fact that New England is there again this early, just kind of, well, yeah, whatever. It can sit right with some people. It can sit bad with some people. To me, I really don't quite care. I already told you Drake May was the MVP this season, regardless of what Stafford showed during the regular season and what Drake May showed during the what's it called during the playoffs. Drake May brought his team to the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford didn't. So, regardless of how that goes out, I think Drake May is the MVP this year, and he brought this team to the Super Bowl. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, we'll see, because as we're going to learn today during tonight's episode, voting sometimes just seems to not really matter anymore. Like, what you actually did and what your resume speaks to doesn't actually matter. As we have one person who made the Pro Bowl that put up some uninspiring stats for the short amount of time, and we had a head coach, arguably one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, get snubbed as a first round Hall of Fame ballot. So we're going to talk about those
Yeah.
things later today and much more. But before we get into it, we got a comment here that I want to address, and I debated about addressing this or not. Richard is in the building, and after jacking up his last name last week, he told me to put some respect on his name. And I said, okay, that's fair. But Richard, if you're going to demand that the host of WTF Nation Radio is a sports bar put some respect on your name, I'd appreciate the exact same. That's not a hard request. And if you cannot do that, that is fine.
Yeah, let's see
I
which
will
one
ignore
happens first.
it. Now,
Hey, is it Bronco or Branco? How the hell do we pronounce it then? Because God forbid that I ever mispronounce his fucking last name.
moving on. Shout out to
Oh, TT's here.
said no buzz sound. Damn. I don't know what's going on with my damn soundboard, man. It messed up about 2 weeks ago. And aside from uninstalling it and reinstalling it, I think I just might have to do that. Sometimes the fix is just to unplug the damn thing and plug it back in. But the show can go on. Let's get started with let's do a toss up here.
Yeah.
White Chocolate, aka Jason Williams, he had a game-worn Ricky jersey sell for what I thought was a ridiculous amount in a private sale. So, in an NBA sensation, Jason Williams, who was a point guard, played for the Sacramento Kings and a couple of other teams during this time in the NBA.
Won a championship with the Miami Heat.
That's right. He had a game-worn white Sacramento Kings jersey from the lockout-shortened season of 98 and 99, sell privately for $140,000. According to most market captures, it's the most spent on any Williams item. Authentication and photo matching company McGray, aided by a letter from Williams' father, authenticated the jersey in December of 2023 and matched it to more than half a dozen games that was played in the 98 and 99 season, including Williams' first preseason game as a professional and game 3 of the Western Conference first round against the Utah Jazz. I don't know who has the kind of money to spend on an item like that or why you would want to buy that. What who give me the profile, coach, of somebody that would spend $140,000 on a game worn rookie NBA jersey?
Somebody who right now is just floating around with money and doesn't know what to do with, and will soon be broke by the time that they have money, because they'll end up selling it anyway to cover any type of debts that they have for other stupid purchases, other bad investments, or just plain old stupidity with money. Because if you're paying $140,000 for a white chocolate number 55 Kings jersey, yeah, my friend, you need to invest your money into something that's going to raise a little bit more in value than, a white chocolate jersey. Look, Jason Williams is a fine player. He
I
won
like
Rookie of the Year that year. His time in Sacramento never really, combined with anything as far as being, he wasn't on those teams with what's it called? He wasn't on those teams with that went against the Lakers in the Western Conference Final. He was gone from the team at that point. Yeah, he had a great rookie season. It was a lot of flash and dance, but he didn't bring a lot of substance onto the court. Now, that being said, if you want to go ahead and keep your money and waste your money on something like that, yeah, go do that somewhere else. It's freaking stupid. So, those of you that have that much money on that, you could have bought a damn, a decent condo over here in North Carolina. You could have bought actually, no, buying a car is, you got to lease a car, because buying a car, you're automatically going to depreciate that money. You could have bought something from an actual superstar like Michael Jordan or Derek Jeter, or somebody who's a sure ballot Hall of Famer like Tom Brady, for that same amount of money, and it would have gone up. But you chose to be different, to get a guy who's not going to be an NBA Hall of Famer. The resale value is going to go up, and you're not going to be able to recoup your losses. So, yeah, you're a fool for wearing it. You're a fool for buying it for that much, and hope nothing but the best for you.
I don't understand it. Now, apparently, and I've got to take this off of the screen here to stop sharing, but I was just showing some highlights of who Jason Williams is. Let me get back to my notes here. Apparently, the buyer is a collector, and let me go back here. The buyer is a collector. The buyer remained anonymous, and they are uh, it's reported as an eclectic buyer who has a vast multi-million dollar art and curio collection.
All right.
Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, that basically means he gets into some high end shit, and people who can't make sense with how much money they've actually make will make stupid purchases. So there's a stupid purchase of something like that. Yeah, that's good to know. Rich fucking people problems and stuff that I really don't give a flying fuck about.
Now, next segment here, we've got the Super Bowl coming up here.
Oh yeah.
As we talked about earlier, the New England Patriots are going to be representing the AFC, playing against the NFC Seattle Seahawks. This game right here, if you looked at how both teams played throughout the season, it's not a stretch to imagine that they would have both ended up making it here. Now, some people argued that the Patriots' schedule and who they had to eliminate to get here was weak as fuck. And when I looked at the evidence that was presented, was like, actually, they played a lot of JV looking teams out there to make their path to the Super Bowl. Now, the part that's interesting to me, and it looks like Coach got some thoughts on that, it's not how any of the teams got there. It's the cost of these damn Super Bowl tickets at Levi Stadium. If you take a look at the screen, and I'm going to maximize it and make it bigger here for a second. Goodness gracious. You're talking The cheapest that I could find, as I'm scrolling kind of quickly here, is looks like $6,700 for the nosebleed seats at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, and this is on the resale site StubHub. And only 6% of tickets are left. If somebody's got money out there, expendable money, because I don't see the value of a Jason Williams jersey going up, then who are these people buying Super Bowl tickets for this kind of a price? And this is just to get into the game. Imagine some of the other vendors that are going to be out there and what some of these hotels are charging, or Airbnbs that have jacked prices up to accommodate people coming out there towards that area.
All right, I'll give you a little bit of an argument on this, and I'm going to say this as far as those that are fans of either the Patriots and the Patriots or the frickin' Seattle, but I'm also going to give it off for something else, of something to call it the once in a lifetime. So here's my take on this. Personally, I wouldn't spend $6,000. Actually, I might spend. I don't know. Jets make it to the Super Bowl because, that's probably going to be a once in a lifetime type of thing. Yeah, I may actually, pony up close to $5,000 to get myself there, to say I was there for the Super Bowl as a Jet fan. I ain't going to lie to you. I would definitely do that. Now, you're looking at some of those tickets as well that are going up in cost. You've got some people that are, $7,000. And I'm also going to say this. I don't like San Francisco. I don't like Levi's Stadium. I don't like the way that it's played there. And it's also going to be absolutely freaking freezing there in an outdoor stadium in San Francisco in February. So, I mean, it doesn't get that warm up there, but it sure as hell ain't going to be a comfortable, outdoor experience in San Francisco. My take on it is this, though. For those super fans that want to make it out, yes, you kind of can do that. If you have that money, if you're that big of a fan, man, you can kind of do that. But, that year, you're right. You have to think of the second and third costs. The transportation to there, the lodging while you're there, the food, which is not going to be, it's not going to be cheap. The entertainment, which, is going to end up being boosted up a hell of a lot more because the Super Bowl's in town. And, other things that are going to be happening around there. So, but I bring this up to say this, the once in a lifetime. All right. And I bring it up as far as one time in my lifetime, the Super Bowl was in New York City. Okay. That was in 2015. And that was actually, no, I take that back. That was in 2014. That was the year Peyton Manning went up against Seattle, and Seattle smoked the hell out of them. But it was over at MetLife Stadium. Now, I could have driven up there, and it would have cost me about $100 in driving. I could have stayed with my family, and I could have eaten with my family, which that would have saved a whole bunch of costs. And I could have gone to the Super Bowl up there for $2,500. That would have been one of those once in a lifetime type of events. Now, if you're from the San Francisco area and you get the opportunity to do that, and that's going to be a once in a lifetime type of thing, then I am saying go ahead and pay for it. Pay for the $6,000, pay for the $7,000, pay for that, whatever it is. If that is going to be if you have the other things logistically under control, if you're able to skimp by staying at, family's house, if you're able to eat by, I don't know, begging for food outside of Levi Stadium or having something better than that, and you're not wasting that much money and the biggest expense that you have is that, then go ahead and do it. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime type of thing to go to the Super Bowl. Many people are going to say it would be a once in a lifetime thing to go to Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. To go to an Army-Navy game, like that's going to be happening December 12th in East Rutherford, New Jersey. To go to a Yankees-Red Sox game happen 13 times a year. I've been to several of them. But to go to an NBA Finals for your team, to go do these certain things, to go to a WrestleMania, to go to a Daytona 500, to go to the Monaco Grand Prix, to go to something like that is a once-in-a-lifetime crown jewel type of event, you got Indy 500. You got to take those opportunities if you have that chance. And if you have $7,000 to do it, do it. Don't just waste the time. If you've got I'll say this: if you've got to take out interest on a loan to do it, I'd advise you not to do it. But
Same.
if you've got to just tighten the belt unbelievably tight for, I don't know, a year, man, in a year from now, you're still going to be telling stories about you being at the Super Bowl. And if you could do that without having to borrow and accrue debt, and you could do that theoretically by cutting back on a lot of shit and being fucking tight as hell with money, do it.
I had somebody, and I wish I could remember who it was off the top of my head. They showed tickets of a Super Bowl that they went to. I think it was David Cunningham. Shout out to David Cunningham. Let me see if I can scroll back and find the post here. And I found the post. No, it was Stephen Ross. Shout out to Stephen Ross. He went to the AFC NFC World Championship game, is what they called it, on Sunday, January 29, 1995 in Miami. And he had some really good seats too. He said he was at the Super Bowl 29 and he showed his ticket near the 50-yard line, a few rows up for $200. Now, it looks like he got them, but not at resale. I don't know if the resale market was how it is now back then in 1995. But $200.
Thousands. Thousands were pretty normal in that time period. I remember I was up in New York City for the Yankees Mets World Series in 2000. Tickets were going for the low thousands for those games. And there were people that were buying them. The Super Bowl at that time, to get 5 times the value in the low thousands especially for a 50-yard on the front lawn, yeah, that would definitely be pretty normal around there. You also have to think, as far as inflation goes, when we think about total inflation, yeah, there is a little bit more of a premium that we're paying if we're going to pay about $7,000. But think back to the prices of 1995 versus the prices that we have now, and it's almost like 3.4 times the price. So while there is some parity around there, it has kind of gone up with the inflation and the pricing and the price gouging that a lot of us have. But conversely, I will also mention that wages have not gone up 3.4 times in that time period. So let's just leave it at that.
Now, the last time that these two teams met, this was I'm going to call it the
stupidest play in NFL history.
We'll go with that. I was going to say the Malcolm Butler interception game, but yeah, we'll call it one of the stupidest coaches' decisions.
The stupidest coaching decision. From that day, Pete Carroll turned into Joe Biden's stunt double.
Oh, yeah. Man, I need my sound effects board to work. That's hilarious. Hold on, let me see. Let's see if this works. Nah, that's not working. All right, whatever. Yeah, that game. What do you think the average cost of a Super Bowl ticket in that game was? Just ballpark figure.
Ballpark, as far as face value, 7 to 800. Resale, probably about 35 to 4, somewhere in that range.
Man, great job on the resale. Yeah, the
average
resale price was $4,250 back then. Now it looks like the current average is around $6,200.
Yeah,
which is a significant price jump between now and.
You're also paying a different price. You're paying a California price.
Yeah, that California
tax. Also, yeah, you're getting California tax, you're getting into California cost of living. Now, it's not as great as it would be if it was being held in freaking Florida, but I mean, the cost of it's gone up, but some of it can be explained a little bit as being in California and being in San Francisco and, paying all the ridiculous taxes that you have to pay for getting over there.
Now, I have one other thing to add, and then we'll move on to the next segment. I know somebody who is going to the game. He showed me his ticket. He is staying with a cousin that lives about an hour out from the
Okay.
stadium, which is dope.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why he said he was going to do it, he's not a fan of either team,
Mhm.
but he did have the discretionary income. And what he said was, I thought it was a fantastic thing. He's going to get himself into some of the like pregame parties and things like that. And he told me, he said, King, think about it. The people that can afford those kind of tickets are likely people that are connected, wealthy, and can put your resume in the right hand. So he's a network engineer. He makes good money, but
Okay.
he's looking at it as a way to network. And he's like, I'm bringing business cards. I'm bringing my resume. I'm looking at this as a networking opportunity to try to see if I can bring
I can
clients.
understand that. I can respect that and understand that. And those people that are going to those parties and those people that are going to the little private events and the fan showcases and the things like that, those are the ones that are there because of some type of corporate partnership. Um, those that do have money. And I also think on there, you also got those people who end up giving those giveaways. Somebody did mention about like the number of tickets that are actually being sold to a Super Bowl is a lot less than what you would actually think.
Mhm.
So the teams get their own allocation of tickets. The owners get their own boxes. The corporate sponsors for the games, if you are one of the title sponsors or one of the people that are paying for your name to be on the field or your name to be up there on the stadium, you're going to have tickets for your company as well as possibly a box. Those boxes get sold out to potential corporate partners of the NFL, sponsors, things like that. There's going to be a group of people that are always going to have some type of free giveaway. In fact, every NFL team will actually get Super Bowl tickets to be used at their discretion. We know that some players, some teams did that for like a fan of the year. In fact, unfortunately, the woman who won the fan of the year Super Bowl tickets for New England passed away
Oh,
today. Oh yeah, it just came out about like 20 minutes ago. But there's less tickets to be brought out as far as the Super Bowl itself. It still doesn't mean that they're not making hand over fist. And that's part of the reason why the Super Bowl is now being held in these stadiums that sit a minimum of 65,000 because the recoupment of the cost of close to even 40,000 tickets will not only be a windfall for the supporting city, but it would ensure that everybody's in the red. Everything else is just pure profit after that.
wow. Yeah. I
Everything's
just
out
found
of the
that out
red and in the
here.
black. Yeah.
Let me bring this up as I think that this is interesting. Shout out to God Happened to Me. Appreciate you tuning in. So what Coach was talking briefly,
Dang.
it's a good story. It's a good thing that the NFL will do where they have the year, and they'll give this Super Bowl experience to this person. But announce,
Yeah.
man, super fan Shelly Sepulveda will never get a chance to cheer on her team next month. She died this past Monday following a 2-year battle with ovarian cancer. Man, hey, let me look into this camera real quick. Fuck cancer.
Yep.
Fuck
Yep. Yep.
cancer.
Yep.
It came hours after the Patriots defeated the Broncos and clinched the spot into the Super Bowl, according to a GoFundMe page that was set up to support her family. They're
Yeah.
quoted as saying Shelley was deeply loved, and her loss has left an unimaginable hole in her family and in everyone who knew her.
Mm-hmm.
And she died just weeks after the team gave her tickets. Super Bowl. She passed the 1 a.m. This past Monday, and I'm showing on the screen a photo of her and Rubber Tug Robert Kraft presenting her the ticket and the gift. Man, that sucks.
It sucks. Yes, rest in peace, and my condolences and prayers to the family. As they're suffering their loss right now, and they're going through that. Um, you know, but I do have a question. I mean, what are they going to do with those tickets now?
But I didn't say it. I thought it, but I didn't say it. I was like, so I wonder who's going to get those tickets now.
Ah, come on! I had to get that in. It's all right.
Oh man.
For those of you that are offended out there, remember my name is King King Smith, and regardless of whom the hell you are in the audience, you can call me King anytime. In fact, I will make you call me King. I will make you call me King.
Hey, I heard something that when I was a E3 in the Air Force, and it was something that stuck with me. There's always comedy in tragedy. You may not be able to laugh initially, but at some point you will.
Yeah, it's kind of like going up to a homosexual who's it's going up to a homosexual that's on a life support. You can always make the good joke. He once was a fruit, now he's a vegetable. At least you're still in the produce department. Yeah, there we go. That
I
was
wish
one
y'all
of them.
could hear my
Needed that.
buzzer. Coach could probably hear my buzzer, but for some reason the people out there can't.
No, I couldn't hear it at all.
You can hear it.
But I knew that was coming.
Let me see if I can. Let me see. We gonna have to fix this. All right.
Yeah.
Let me try now.
All right.
You couldn't hear that, could you?
No, I couldn't hear it.
Dang it. All right. Next story. The Pro Bowl. Oh. All right. Look.
Man, we had a good conversation going about the Pro Bowl in the chat, though, man.
Yeah. So the selection of Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland Browns quarterback, to the 2026 Pro Bowl is the biggest sports story of the week, or at least it was until the Bill Belichick story came out. But I think that the Pro Bowl selection highlights the tension between merit in the NFL and marketing in the modern NFL. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's break this down. Shedeur Sanders was not originally voted in by players, coaches, or fans. He is an alternate replacement for New England quarterback Drake May, who was selected as one of the 3 AFC quarterbacks. But because Drake May is playing in the big game, May is not eligible to participate, right? And usually the spot goes to the next highest vote getter. However, there was a rash of injuries and a couple of opt-outs that cleared the field for some of the AFC quarterbacks. Quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, surgery, Bo Nix, who broke his ankle, Daniel Jones, who tore his Achilles, and Bills quarterback Josh Allen, who's dealing with a foot injury. Now, the result of all of that is the league went down the list until they reached Sanders, who accepted the invitation. And he is the first rookie drafted in the 5th round or later to make the Pro Bowl since Puka Nacua in 2023. But it doesn't come without controversy. Critics argue that the selection proves that the Pro Bowl is now a popularity contest rather than a reward for elite performance. Sanders only started in 7 games, passing 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 picks on a 56.6% completion rate. Now, there is the narrative that the NFL wants a Sanders family involved to help boost the ratings of the Pro Bowl games, which have suffered a lot of low viewership over the last couple of years. But some people are calling it a shrewd move. Now, the counter argument is that supporters would point out that he did spark the struggling Browns offense, leading them to 3 wins in his 7 starts, including wins over rivals like the Steelers and the Bengals. And he also became the first rookie in NFL history to throw for 350 plus yards and 3 touchdowns in a single game, while also rushing for a touchdown. Coach, having heard all of that, we've been talking about this in the back chat. What are your thoughts about Sanders and his selection this year?
Let me bring something up so that if everybody is asking about this, I mentioned this last week about the Pro Bowl meaning something, and it used to mean something, and it doesn't anymore. And this is what is going to be brought up, and I'm going to have a thing. But I was a little taken back, like, are you fucking kidding me? Shedeur Sanders isn't a Pro Bowler. But then I got to thinking about this, and here's what I am going to say. All right? Of all the AFC quarterbacks, you mentioned Josh Allen ain't going. Justin Herbert ain't going. Patrick Mahomes is hurt. Cam Ward, hurt as well. All right? Daniel Jones, hurt. Bo Nix, hurt. Nobody from the fucking Jets is going. Tua probably is still concussed, but let's leave Tua off the list for right now. Rodgers declined. Burrow declined. Geno Smith declined. Okay? I'm going to bring something up regarding other quarterbacks as well. You are at the point. Oh, Trevor and what's his name? Trevor Lawrence also declined as well. So you are really picking at the bottom of the fucking barrel for like Tyrod Taylor and the guy who fucking Brady Cook, who started for the Jets the last several weeks, and other backup quarterbacks are fucking Joe Flacco, for fuck's sake. Those are whom you're picked on because everybody else is either accounted for, playing in the Super Bowl, or declined to go. And let's also remember that 1/3 of the vote goes to the fans. So look, we're not talking Shedeur Sanders had a fan vote of so many people. No. Because if anybody had any sense, any of those quarterbacks that I would have mentioned would have been voted, in fact, actually were a little bit more ahead than Shedeur Sanders. In fact, they were asked first. It got so low on the priority list that Shedeur Sanders was the only great option left. Let me put it to you in Army terms, okay? And I hope that some people out here are listening to this, you 11 Bravo dumb motherfuckers. All right? You needed 350 in order to make sergeant and staff sergeant, or probably 450 in order to make staff sergeant, okay? Out of 800 points. They picked up anybody who was promotion eligible. And guess what? Shedeur Sanders, you know, when you get a score of 350, anybody who is a freaking promotion eligible gets picked up. Shedeur Sanders started in the NFL. He ended up becoming Pro Bowl eligible. And now they are so damn low. The cutoff score is so low that they got picked up, and Shedeur has gotten picked up. All right? The next one that they would have ended up asking for would have been backup quarterbacks that didn't freaking finish the season out with the teams, or, you know, a bunch of players that nobody had ever heard of. That is how bad the Pro Bowl has become. Nobody wants to play in an exhibition game, especially in a place that they don't. I don't even know where the fuck they're holding the Pro Bowl this year. Do you?
It's for the first time. It's going to be at the same site as the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay, great. So, all right, great. They're having it there. Whoop-de-fucking-do, okay? Now that I know that it's going to San Francisco, no offense, I don't want to go to damn San Francisco. I don't want to freaking go play in a game in San Francisco out of that. And I know that, and by the way, I might also add that if you get selected for the Pro Bowl, guess who is a selection? All of those people that just got passed over, that declined, they're also Pro Bowl selections. But we don't count them unless they play in the game, right? They were all selected to the Pro Bowls. This is part of the reason why the Pro Bowl has meant nothing, is because the players now have the option not to play in that fucking game. And that's why All Pro means a hell of a lot more than Pro Bowl. And that's where the incentive bonuses are coming from that. But Nobody cares to play in that game. Nobody wants to get injured. You're going to San Francisco instead of Hawaii, which, I'm just saying that, you have people going to Hawaii. There's people that would, take the paid vacation and bring their family out to that. But you're probably going to San Francisco. Shedeur Sanders got a 350 cutoff score. That's what happened. He got picked up because, well, they had room and he was the only person left. So I'm not hating on Shedeur Sanders' pickup as much as I'm hating on how insignificant and meaningless the Pro Bowl truly is, and how, even with the great game of the NFL still from time to time can give us a crap product, show us where they're wrong, and show us inconsistencies where we wonder what is going on in the minds of these people that make the decisions. That's all I got to say about that.
He said it might be a great flag football choice. And look, I don't mind the move to the flag football game that they had because the full contact sport significantly changed from how I looked into the late 90s and the early 2000s, where you would see people jogging. I could run as fast as what some of those people were doing out there in some of the most recent Super Bowls where they played full pads. My thing is this. If you tell me I got a chance for participating for one day to make 40 something $1,000 tax free, or essentially double it if the team that I got selected on wins, I'm saying yes to that, barring any other business obligations that I
And and I'm pretty sure I brought this up. It was either last week or it was in that chat. But for the young player, for the rookie, for the first year, second year player, for these ones that are a first time or second time attendee to the Pro Bowl, it's always good for them. So no hating on Shedeur Sanders for this one. He made it just in the same way that most of you that are listening ended up picking up Sargent. They had a low damn cutoff score and you just got in. All right. And yes, I'm a little bit bitter behind that because out of 800 points, you know what I needed to get picked up for Sergeant King?
650.
774.
Oh,
Do you know what I had to get picked up for Staff Sergeant? 798 out of 800. Yeah. And that's how, and I had 798 when I got picked up for Staff Sergeant. I had to get 798 promotion points. Yeah. Yeah.
What is Staff Sergeant in the Army? Is that E6?
Yes.
I don't know Army ranks like that.
Yeah. E1 through E4, the lower enlisted. E5 through E6 are promoted off of a centralized board where they use promotion points. It got revised several years ago. I was underneath the old 800 system when I got promoted through that. And then DA selection from Sergeant First Class E7, First Sergeant Master Sergeant E8, and Sergeant Major Command Sergeant Major at E9.
Dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you ever watch if you ever watch Sergeant's Time, the show that follows us on Thursday that you can't remember because you want to call it Thursday edition. You might know this stuff.
It's true. It's true. Now, the last story that we have for today, and I thought this one was the bigger story, given the news that NFL coach and current playboy, if you will,
current losing NCAA head coach.
Yeah, there we go. Current losing NCAA head coach whose girlfriend seems to wield a lot of power. Bill Belichick has been denied a first ballot Hall of Fame entry, and by many accounts, players, sports pundits, coaches, a lot of people, even those that are saying, I've never liked the guy, but there's no denying what he did in the sport, are calling it a travesty. And I said this. I said, if Bill Belichick's resume and what he did doesn't speak for first round ballot Hall of Fame considerations, Don't put me in. Matter of fact, if I was him, I'd go, you know what? Y'all can take y'all's Hall of Fame and shove it up your asshole because I don't want to be a part of it. That is ridiculous to me. 6 Super Bowls as a coach, 8 total when you factor in some of his assistant coaching time and things like that. He required 80% of the votes to be inducted, and he failed to reach that, which is 40 out of the 50. Now, rumors are saying that former coach GM Bill Polian swayed the room, and it's alleged that he told voters that Bill Belichick should wait a year as penance for Spygate and Deflategate, and this is alleged. Polian is denying it, saying that he's 95% sure he voted for Bill, which I don't understand that. That's a very fucked up thing to say. It's very suspicious when you think about it. How are you going to say, I'm 95% sure I voted for somebody?
Yeah.
Either you voted for him or you didn't, which that right there tells me the kind of sneaky asshole that the coach GM is. I think that it's petty revenge for 20 years of beatdowns. The other thing that is coming out of this are people talking about the character clause and that voters are hiding behind bylaws that allow them to judge integrity. And one anonymous voter admitted that the cheating scandals really bothered some of the guys. Now, I have a cousin who played for the Patriots. He had nothing but great things to say. I ain't gonna say great things. He said a lot of positive things about Bill Belichick. He actually, it's funny. He played for the Patriots when Mike Vrabel was still a player on the team, and Mike Vrabel is now the current head coach that's taking this Patriots team to the Super Bowl. And he said Mike Vrabel is one of the best dudes that he's ever met in life, which says a lot about Mike up there in New England. A lot of the reactions around the sports world, you got Deion Sanders called the committee ignorant. And then he followed that up with how quickly we forget. And LeBron James, the GOAT, I said it, coach, tweeted is impossible and disrespectful. Coach, what do you have?
2019, one Boston Red Sox writer did not write in Derek Jeter into the Hall of Fame, or was it 2020, one of the years? I can't remember which one because I think both of them kind of burned into each other because of the COVID. But one person did it because he was a Red Sox fan and, they wanted to be an asshole. Same thing also happened to Ichiro as well. And rightfully so, those people that didn't do that had their fucking vote removed that following year because they made it more about them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, each Hall of Fame has a different type of selection committee. Majority of them are press. There are Hall of Fame members in the NFL. There's coaches. There are some players, but the vast majority of it is NFL media. And the NFL media has made themselves the fucking story. And I give it to this. I don't think it had to do with Deflategate. I don't think it had to do with freaking. In fact, actually, it didn't have anything to do with Deflategate because if you realize that, if you looked at it, nothing was ever charged and nothing was ever brought up regarding Bill Belichick's involvement in Deflategate. He was never punished for Deflategate. Tom Brady was. All right. Spygate was something. Spygate, yeah, he did a couple of those things, and that was done. And look, I'm going to say this. I have a feeling that other NFL teams were doing the same exact thing. It's just the fact that the Patriots got caught. The Patriots also, after that season, lost their draft pick, were fined $750,000, and continued to dominate. In fact, if I'm right, the game that they were talking about with Deflategate was the first game of the season against the New York Jets. You know what the Patriots did after that? After that blowout win that they had against the Jets? You know what they did? They won every other fucking game that season until they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. All right? So even without having to do that, he still was a pretty dominant coach. The sports writers were, I'm going to say this as much as I have, and I get it. These unathletic fucking dweeb motherfuckers who never played a goddamn down in their life and were most likely the managers of their team and had to go ahead and get their jocks put on their face when the athletes were in the shower. These motherfuckers were talked down by Bill Belichick almost every press conference. And I defy you to go to a press conference that Bill Belichick had in which he was actually pleasant. Look at the contempt that he showed all the media members at almost every press conference. It was always fun to see him do that at the press conference too, because some people would ask the dumbest fucking dweeb questions. And that was payback for them. So they got their little petty payback. But what they've also done is shown the fact that they have no integrity past the sport. They have zero integrity about the sport. 1998. Okay, here's a good one for you. 1998. There was debate on whether or not Lawrence fucking Taylor was going to be a first-time Hall of Famer. And back at that point, they only had 30 people that voted on the Hall of Fame. You had to get 24 out of the 30. LT got 27. All right. That was the last time I had heard anything about possible Hall of Famers. All right. Everybody knew Peyton Manning was going to be a Hall of Famer in first year he was in. Some people are still debating Eli. I think Eli deserves to be in. But for the fact that you are adding players like Ken Anderson to the Hall of Fame finalists before you are putting in Bill Belichick proves to me that you had that and did that as a vendetta. You made it more about your own relationship to Bill Belichick than you did to any type of anything that he has done for the game. And this is coming as a fucking Jet fan whom he left the day after being hired, writing down on a napkin, "I resign," and embarrassed, the first embarrassment of the Jets in the Woody Johnson era. And you know what? If I was him, I'm glad he did that because he was smart enough to get the fuck out of town when Woody Johnson bought the damn team. And he didn't want to stay for that shit show because that owner has fucked everything up. So anyway, regardless of that, those people that didn't vote for those Hall of Famers, for Jeter, for Ichiro, for the ones that did it because of based on something else, the pompous asses got removed. All right? What I believe is that those that voted because of their own personal biases against Bill Belichick's freaking thing, their votes need to be removed. Suspend it. If they're so important to the game of football, suspend them for next year. Get 10 other people, whomever it is, the 11, 12 other people, get them in there. If they did not pick freaking Bill Belichick to be in the Hall of Fame, you're stupid. All right? You don't deserve to be watching the NFL. You deserve to be reporting on the WNBA if you did not vote for freaking Bill Belichick to go into the Hall of Fame. That's where you should be. You should be on the freaking WNBA sidelines watching Angel Reese miss shots and commenting on her, whatever that 3-on-3 freaking thing is. Have you seen the highlights of her from there? Man, she is even worse in 3-on-3 than she is on 5-on-5. But yeah, these people are fucking idiots. And I really do think that Belichick got screwed over. Legitimacy has now taken a hit in the Hall of Fame, especially in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Look, a lot of people think that the Basketball Hall of Fame and the NHL Hall of Fame are a little bit too easy to get in. And I understand that, but they're also, you have to realize that they're not just doing professional. Okay. And this is the Pro Football Hall of Fame that we're talking about here. The Basketball Hall of Fame and the Hockey Hall of Fame are also doing international as well as college and other places like that. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is only worried about the NFL. And it should just be the NFL Hall of Fame, because if they were ever going to acknowledge anybody in the CFL or any other professional league, then Doug Flutie would be in that Hall of Fame right now. Just saying. Just saying. So, that being said, the NFL Hall of Fame, let that NFL Hall of Fame, it just took a notch in everybody's mind. And it's another dent and another thing about the NFL people are going to poke and prod about. But that's also what makes the NFL the greatest sport that we have in America, is because even with everything good, and we've had great football, we've had great things, we had great competitions, and we had shit. We had 3 weekends in a row of snow games. All right, that's awesome. But with how much we have, there is still debate on how to make everything better. And I'm glad that there is things that the NFL doesn't do perfectly, because they can improve upon them. And, I want to transition to something that we don't have listed on here. And if you don't mind, I want to bring this up. It's about NASCAR.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, not sure if you heard about this, but NASCAR actually changed what they were going to be doing for the 2026 season. Last year and the year before that, with a lot of controversy regarding the championship format, the way that everything is been done business-wise with the France family, and all that was brought out during the Michael Jordan trial, in which NASCAR lost, and the overall malaise that they've had ever since the new car came out in 2021 or 2022. NASCAR has decided that they're going to start listening to the fans instead of listening to the dwindling market of money that they have. And they had to have some type of compromise, so they changed their format system to the chase format, where the top 16 finishers will be in their 10-week chase for the championship. All the points get rescored. You get re-racked 1 through 16 with some bonus points, and it's to help bring the best driver throughout the entire year, instead of having to worry about a one-and-done forced drama, which NASCAR tried to pull up for the past decade. Then they also decided to get rid of one of the more boring type of races, the Roval in Charlotte, and bring it back to the Charlotte Oval race. That oval race is actually one of the better racetracks that they have in with this new setup with the car. So to move that back to the way that they're doing it is getting better. Now, the next thing that they have is that they have to divest certain things. NASCAR has been doing two good things, and they seem to be listening to the fan base. They haven't done everything, and they still have much to improve. So, unless NASCAR decides to make more changes to worsen their experience, they're making the changes to better off with the fans. The NFL now has room again to build better for the fans. And I believe that if NASCAR can do it with all the delays that they have regarding their terrible broadcast partners in Fox, the fact that most of their races are on cable, and how all they went for was money, and now that the money is being shared more with the teams, hopefully, there is a way to get better for the fan experience. Let the NFL, who has the best fan experience, still find places to improve and make them better. That way they can become more dominant and, overtake baseball as the sport that, oh, wait a minute, hold on, baseball. Nobody has heard a fucking thing about baseball. Nobody really gives a shit unless the Dodgers does something. And their off season is way too long and takes way too, has been drug out so long that nobody has any interest in it whatsoever. Had to bring that up. So, all right, buddy.
Okay. Now, let me take a look here. We're talking about the NASCAR changes. I was looking up some of the things as well. There are some technical rule changes that they implemented. I didn't know that there was an age. I mean, of course, there would be a age limit for a major sport, but it's a lot younger than I thought it was.
Yeah, 18 for the Cup car, and I believe it's 16 or 17 for the Xfinity. Usually, the Cup rookie will show up. You'll get very rare that an 18-year-old will get in the car, but we've had a couple of them. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano were two that I know that were teenagers when they got their first Cup ride. I want to say Chase Elliott might have been 19. Kozlowski might have been like 20s or something like that. But usually your rookie, you're about 21, 22 years old. Yeah, you can get in pretty young underneath that. In fact, if you ever looked at Formula One, the kid, well, not a kid, but Max Verstappen, they had to change the rule, and now it's called the Verstappen rule that to get a super license, you have to be over the age of 18. At 17 and certain number of months, he became the youngest F1 race winner in his first race for Red Bull.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Coach. How many Sports Hall of
Mhm.
Fame have you been to?
I have not. I've been to one. I've been to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I have not been to Canton. I've not been to Springfield. I have not been to Cooperstown, and I have not been to wherever the fuck hockey one is. I was at the. I do know where the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is, but I've never been there. I've never been inside it.
I have been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in
Mhm.
Canton. I've been to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. And just though, oh no, and I've been to the Olympics one, which is more like a museum, if you will, in Colorado Springs, which is actually pretty dope. That one was probably
Nice.
my favorite one of the three that I've been to. But I want to try to get down to Charlotte and check out the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Is it worth like a weekend trip to go?
I think the NASCAR Hall of Fame would be good to go in conjunction with something else.
Okay.
Okay. CQ went with me to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So, and by the way, I don't know who the hell made him the jack guy, but, I didn't, or he made him the gun guy, but it was kind of funny that, the dude without missing a finger was the fastest on the gun, on the tire gun. But, but what ended up, no, so to go through everything will take about a good 2 hours, and you'll have a guided tour with some people, and you're looking at a bunch of race stuff is what you're looking at, a bunch of plaques. You'll see some trophies, you'll see some race suits. There's a couple experiences where you'll be able to drive the car that they're racing at that week, or you'll be able to see certain race cars from certain races up on a super speedway embankment that's like 26 degrees or something like that, or 36 degrees. I can't remember the actual height of it, but it'll take you about 2 hours to walk through everything. And then to go there just for that, you definitely want to do something else afterwards, which I will recommend that there is a Brazilian steakhouse right across the street from the NASCAR Hall of Fame. The NASCAR Hall of Fame is also right next to the Charlotte Convention Center in the uptown Charlotte area. And if you really, really want to do something and kind of make a city day of it, I would recommend this for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. If you were ever to do that and you don't mind walking and you want to do it in conjunction with something cool, wait until there is either a Panthers night game, like a Thursday night game, or I mean, they're not going to play on a Sunday night, let's be honest here, or a Monday night game. Or if you're into minor league baseball, find out when the Charlotte Knights are playing. And I would also recommend it being a Friday game because that's usually what the hell are those things that they shoot off? Firework night. Do that in conjunction with a game, or do that in conjunction with going to a Hornets game or going to a concert over at the Spectrum Center. I would say doing just to go down there and visit, not worth just going down to visit and, paying for parking and paying admission just to see that thing. But to do it with something else and to make a day out of it, yeah, I'd recommend doing it that way. Like I'd go up to Cooperstown and I'd be in there for 5 hours. And I'm pretty sure that if I was over in Canton, I'd be there for longer than 2 hours.
It was dope. Yeah, we did a vlog about it. Me and my lady ended up going out there and we did a vlog about it. It was a really good experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where I'm thinking, like, that's where I would be as far as doing that Hall of Fame. But no, I think it's a good Hall of Fame. It was a pretty good Hall of Fame. I liked some of the stuff that they had there was pretty cool. But like I said, it just it's you're looking at different race suits and you're looking at different trophies. That's basically what you're looking at.
I love
Yeah,
the experience too. Some like the simulator, I think, would probably be the thing that would make it worth it for me.
yeah, that was actually pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool. So, I mean, I would say it was pretty daggone nice. I like the simulator was fine. I got a little ticked off because somebody kept bumping into me. Like there was some kid that was playing with us, and he would go past like from the pit row exit, and then he would turn up and try to hit everybody as they were coming into the turns, and it kept fucking knocking me and resetting me. So I was a little pissed off about that.
All right, hey coach, let's do a trivia next week. We'll do trivia next week. We'll do a marketing plan to try to get people to do it. But
Yeah.
I only want to run it if we have me plus, let's say, a minimum of four other people. So five total. And there's
All
going
right.
to be a prize if anybody is able to beat me in trivia. So right now, I'm going to try my best to market this thing. Come do trivia with the sports bar at WTF Nation Radio next Wednesday. And if you beat me, there's an Amazon gift card waiting for the winner, as long as it's not me. All right. So
All right.
that is our show for today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Next week, again, will be trivia here at the Sports Bar at WTF Nation Radio. I looked at our calendar. It looks like the Smoke Pit is going to be live tonight. So tune in to Radar and the Smoke Pit tonight. He is not going to be live tonight. I stand corrected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, no show tonight here at WTF Nation Radio with the Smoke Park. So this is going to be the last faces that y'all see live. I'm King. That's Coach. We out. Have a good evening.